Good morning. I'm Don Black, creator of the Wikipedia and SacredHearth.com. And today I am here to talk to you about growing magical herbs in the house. This is my ragtag bunch of magical herbs. This is my mint, which looks like horrible right now. I've had this mint for several years. It does this weird thing where it just kind of dies, and I can't figure out what causes it. Does it happen when it's too hot? Does it happen when it's too cold? Does it happen when it's too dry? I don't know. So the first time it happened, I just put the pot in the backyard and was like, one day I'm gonna find something else plant in here. And 3 months later, it started growing back. So we have little leaves growing at the ends. There's tiny little shoots of mint coming up here. There's one brand new. I can't even show it to you. Oh, I just broke my parsley. So yeah, it's not dead. It just looks like that sometimes. Oh, and this is grapefruit peel because I stick it in all my plants because my cat doesn't like grapefruit. So I stick the grapefruit peel in there so my cat doesn't sit in my plants. She still chews on them a little bit sometimes if they stick out, but she will get right into the pot. And anyway, grapefruit peel, she doesn't like it. It may or may not work for your cat. Don't know. We've got basil also here. It's been in the windowsill. I think it's still a little chilly for it, so it's kind of droopy. Parsley. I have another parsley that is in its second year and it's starting to bloom, and I'll probably plant that outside so the bees can get to it as soon as it warms up a bit. The parsley is really hardy. It can handle the cold outside, but it's been inside, so I need to take it out for a couple hours here and there to help it get used to outside before I stick it out there so the flowers can get the bees can get to the flowers. Then we'll have seeds. This is rosemary. And this little stick is just to support it because it was really floppy. And every single one of these I got not in my garden center, but in my produce section of my grocery store. So if right now you cannot find the herbs you need in your garden center, do check your produce aisle. Because they often have, this was purchased in my produce aisle. It is very sad looking rosemary, but hopefully we're about to cheer it up a little bit. Smells wonderful. Love rosemary. Love the way it smells. It smells even better on your hands after, and we'll do that in a minute. But anyway, so what do I use all this for? Basil is for joy and harmony. I like to use it in my cleaning solutions when I'm going to have company over, especially if it's family, because everybody sometimes, not always, get a little testy with one another when we're family. So a little basil, keep people, in accord, just a little harmony going on. Parsley has a lot of magical associations with the afterlife and things like that. I use it a lot in my cooking. So I don't actually use it a lot for magic, although I do use it for offerings for the Wandering Dead and Hecate and things, as well as garlic. And mint is insect repellent. I generally use it for, and also teas. It's lovely. What are you doing? My child is here for food. Apparently, I'm making a big record. I will feed you in 10 minutes, I promise. All right. And then rosemary is wonderful for just stimulating the mind. It's very refreshing. It helps with my headaches. Also, other things that grow really well in pots are thyme. I didn't have room for all my pots over here. My kitchen gets lots of activity. It's my potting shed. It's for cooking. It's It's the first aid station. It's all the things. So I didn't have room for all my pots over here, but oregano grows really well in pots, and that's a very nice cleansing herb for getting out feelings of like grief, despair, that sort of thing, depression. It's lifting, uplifting. Thyme I love as a cleansing herb for sickness, like contagious type sickness. It's just kind of banishing and cleansing and protective of that sort of thing. Again, I put those in my wash water when I'm cleaning for those purposes. Also, just a general house cleansing. And I like to burn it as well as incense, but I only do that outside because I don't like smoke inside my house. When I'm using the herbs inside the house, they are being put into water, which I am then like either spraying or washing things with to do the cleansing. And I might do like a simmer pot to just get the smell into the house, or but for burning stuff, I only do that outside. Anyway, so I have this lovely, very sad, but hopefully we're going to perk it up looking rosemary. I did not water it recently because I want it to be, it actually slides in and out of the pot easier if it's a little bit dry. I don't want to like kill it by not watering it, but we can get it in and out of the pot better if it's dry than we can if it's wet. It's less just like that. We are going to plant it in this yogurt container. Single-use containers are annoying. This, I checked the bottom. The little triangle says 5. My recycle only picks up 1 and 2. I don't believe that plastic recycling is real anyway because of the nature of plastic. So I try to reuse things as much as possible. I don't know how to get yogurt without a plastic container, at least from the store. Making my own involves getting milk, which also comes in a plastic container. So anyway, so first I'm going to poke some holes in the bottom. I had a little knife here to do that with, but it seems to have disappeared. I'm going to go ahead and use these here scissors. Knife works better than scissors. So I'm just going to poke a couple holes for drainage in the bottom here. Poke holes for drainage. And then I have my little potting mix. You can use whatever potting mix you get. I mix up this, again, reusing. I mix up my potting mix with some coconut coir, some, I mostly use the coconut coir for seed starting, but I throw a little in the potting mix too, just to kind of give it some texture. And then I put some rabbit poo in there and just, some potting soil from the store. Rabbit poo is wonderful fertilizer. Everybody likes rabbit poo. Sorry, Rosemary, I'm abusing you. Okay. And I just put that in there. I'm going to fill it up about halfway here. And this is damp. I make sure this is good and damp because, a couple reasons. It scoops up better when it's wet. You can pack it down better. And when you water the soil that's completely dry, it kind of floats up. So I like to start with my soil pre-moistened. And I probably don't need a pot quite this deep. Yeah, no, this is good. This thing's probably root bound. I don't know. I actually have. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, slide that out. You can see the roots here. It's not too terribly root bound, but it's getting close. I only filled this up halfway so that I can tuck this in nicely, just like so. You're not even seeing this. There we go. tuck it in nicely. And then I'm going to just fill it up around the edges. And that should give plenty of room for those roots to spread out. And this is not a pretty pot. It is, but you can make it pretty if you want. You can use, you can paint it. There are lots of paints that adhere well to plastic. And, you know, you can label it. I know what it is. I never label anything. Sometimes I get confused. Not a recommended practice. And then I'm just going to go and set this in my sink and just give it a good drenching. It'll drain in the sink. I'll actually leave it there for a few minutes. And then after it's all done dripping, I'll pick it up. It won't be dripping anymore. I'll put it on my windowsill. And voila, I have a rosemary. Each one of these do have different requirements. The basil is really sensitive to the cold, so the fact that it's been in the windowsill when the temperatures drop below zero overnight is it's not happy about that. And the parsley was super happy there in the cold windowsill until recently when the sun started getting really high and it started getting more afternoon sunlight because the sun is now above the trees. So so it's giving a lot more sun than usual. And of course, the basil likes that. The rosemary loves it. But the parsley is suffering from a bit of sun scald on the part that faces the window. So I'll probably just have to rotate it a couple times, like in the afternoon, maybe go and rotate it in the afternoon. But yeah, I'm going to stick this on my windowsill. It's going to be happy. The windowsill is getting lots of sunlight right now. The rosemary doesn't mind a bit of cold as long as the plant, the roots itself don't freeze. And obviously, it's not freezing inside the house. It's just a little cold in the windowsill, colder in the windowsill than other parts of the house. But so it'll be fun. See, this rosemary is perfectly happy. A little crazy. It does get a trim periodically. It's just it's super cute. I like rosemary as a house plant. It is. It's just a wonderfully fun house plant. This whole thing could probably be trimmed off. Now, I could have made my life easier too and just trimmed off all this excess stuff here and just planted a small, because it'll all grow back. Rosemary doesn't grow as fast as, say, the basil, but it would grow back and it would branch out more after it's cut. So when you're cutting these, though, in fact, I'll go ahead and cut this. When you're cutting these, think about, pruning it. Now, a lot of times you're just going to cut the leaves and branches and stuff as you need them. But instead of just picking off the leaves you need, you should just go ahead and cut the whole, show you on the basil. Cut a whole branch. Basil. Actually, I think it's getting overwatered, which is weird for me. Cut a whole branch, but cut it above a leaf node. You can see here where I just cut is just above where there's new leaves forming. Okay, and then so you'll get new leaves, and it'll some plants. Not basil so much, but the rosemary, it'll start branching out. They'll get fluffier and fuller if you do that. So I will put all of this. I will put this to good use. Just set that aside, and yeah. So now I just have to clean up my mess so I can convert my kitchen back into a food preparation area. And I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any questions about that, concerns, criticisms, then my plants aren't beautiful. It's a rough time of year for plants, even indoors. Transitional, Uh, and like I said, any of these can be grown from seed. Some of the like the mint and the rosemary are a little tricky to grow from seed. Parsley and basil grow readily from seed. But they you can get them from your garden centers as well. But if your garden center isn't open, check out the produce center. You may have the little cups like this with the herbs in them, and you can just grow them. They will grow for you, and they'll be perfectly happy with their new home. And if you're on food stamps, you can pay with them with food stamps, which is awesome because they are food. You eat them. I use my herbs often. They do like a little trim up, so don't be afraid to use them. Right? Again, questions? Hit me up in the comments. Come bother me in Discord. Whatever is best for you, and I would be very happy to elaborate. I can talk to you about plants all day long. I never don't want to talk about plants. So definitely do not hesitate to ask me any questions. Have a great week. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, I guess.